Welcome back to Counterculture. He's Pastor Mark. I'm Annie. We're here to tell you some things.
Great! And unsearchable things you know not.
Right. That go against our culture.
Right.
Right, which really the two of us sitting here go against the culture. We are not finely polished.
But we are both wearing boots.
Look at it. We stick out today.
Okay.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Romans 12.
Yes.
Can you read the first two verses for me?
Therefore,
I
urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
So when we talk about counterculture, right, these two verses really could be the theme verses for this entire thing, right? This whole idea of Paul is encouraging the Romans, but he's encouraging all of us to be counterculture, right? So when you look at these two verses and we talk about being counterculture, what sticks out to you as, all right, these are the keys, or this is what really makes being counterculture possible?
I love how verse 2.
Yep.
The forms. What's your form? Ooh. Are you conformed or are you transformed? Now we could get into reform. I've just been read something this week about that Reformation and transformation are not the same thing. Transformation is about internally. We can push for reform, but it doesn't do a lot of good if we're not transformed.
Yeah.
So, but there's so much conforming. We just, shouldn't we do this? Shouldn't we do that? The word con usually means with and form. So you're forming with what's around you. You know, you're taking on the shape of the glass, so to speak. Ooh. Instead of letting God do, you're letting the culture do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world. But be transformed. God's in the transformation business. We're already kind of in that. He's transforming and saying, okay, this is what you need to be doing.
I love that because I love the fact that there is a pattern of the world, right? There is a mold that the world is trying to fit. I went to a medieval festival on Saturday, with my favorite 4,000 people or so, right?
Yes.
And it is amazing because this is not a very big place, right? It is like amoeba style. Like everybody's just going together, right? You're conformed into this pattern of going from here to here to here to here. And it's so funny because the outliers, the people who aren't doing that, they stick out like crazy, right? Yes. They're the ones that are off to the side. And God says that's what he wants us to be, right? He wants us to be the outliers, the people that look different, talk different, think differently. But we don't get there by accident, do we?
No, it is by the renewing of your mind. A lot of times people think faith, and I remember hearing this one time, that faith is a matter of the heart. It's a matter of the mind. Faith is about belief. What do we believe?
Yeah.
And that is in the mind. And so Paul says, and I love how Paul says it, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It means we have to unlearn some things and learn new things. And the unlearning is the hard part.
Yep.
It is harder to unlearn something than to learn something new.
Why?
We've become so accustomed to it. This is what we've always done it that way.
Our favorite church words.
Our favorite church words.
We've always
done it that way.
Man, makes Christmas very interesting in the church world.
Yes.
What do you mean that's not going to be that?
I'm looking at doing more of a Jesse tree this year. Like that thought about my Christmas focus would be that.
That's kind of out there.
It is.
You're going to ask people to be stretched.
I know. But a rubber band is no good if it is not stretched, which is the renewing of the mind. There is truth there. And, you know, I'm just 3 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay. And 2 of them for seminaries. And I've heard people say, well, seminary just indoctrinates. No, it did not. Seminary educated me. It did not tell me what I was supposed to believe. It helped me understand what I believe and help me refine it and say, is what is really here? It's why we have to consider other positions.
Right.
You know how I don't like when someone says, at least study something and not just, well, they're, you know, it cracks me up when you put something in, if you Google something, there will always be, there's this one website or whatever that will tell you why, it doesn't matter what the theology is. It will tell you why it's wrong.
Yep.
And they're the only ones who are right. And it's like, so our faith has to be tested that way. Our theology has to be tested. We have to say, wait a minute here. Why do I believe? And if I do believe this, then this. And then, but if this, then this. And then, well, wait a minute. That negates that. That messes up what I believe. I had a professor in seminary say, read a book twice. Once to agree with it, once to disagree with it. That's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to learn and really understand what you believe.
I love when you say that, right? Because I think there's great truth in that, right? It's why lots of times when we're talking to somebody, right, we listen to them once and then we ask them again to repeat certain things, right? Because we're looking and say, like, wait, did I hear that right? Is that there's truth
like
in
you saying the sin of drinking coffee.
That's right.
I'll be praying for you about that.
I tried really hard to sneak that in, and you did pay attention to me.
I caught you.
You did. You caught.
And now I will negate everything you ever say because that one thing that you're wrong on.
I love what you say about seminary, right? In seminary, we have this opportunity, right, to just go with it and be indoctrinated. There certainly isn't an opportunity to come out and say, like, we can quote people, but if you go in with the right perspective, totally different in mind, right? It's this idea of like, hey, I'm going to challenge these thoughts. I'm going to be encouraged.
And to have professors who will say, well, wait a minute, what about this?
Yeah.
Ooh, I never thought about that.
Yep.
Well, maybe you need to think about that.
Yeah, I love it.
It's called discipleship. Jesus challenged the disciples' thinking and the Pharisees' thinking all along.
Exactly. They just didn't take it very well.
They didn't like it. They didn't like it. And most people don't like it either. Because James Fowler, in The Stages of Faith, which I read a long time ago, but I remember one of the main things I took out is most people get to the place where 2 + 2 = 4 in their faith.
Yep.
Until they hit something where 2 + 2 = 5. And like, wait a minute, what? Wait, Jesus, your math doesn't, your spiritual theological math doesn't add up there. And then you, now you gave me something to think about, you know, or you know, they put, or you learn something through exegesis, through study, and you're like, well, that changes everything. Or you see something in the Greek or the Hebrew, and you're like, ooh. And we forget that the rabbis, how they drashed.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, what about this? And and it wasn't. It was to learn. It was not to be right. It was to learn. It got to the place probably where it was to be right because we all want to be right. But
they didn't take it as personal attack.
Yeah, it wasn't a personal attack like we do everything today. To say, wait a minute, maybe I can learn something here. And I never thought of it that way. That's something I need to think about. Write your theology with a pencil and a very big eraser.
Renewing your mind.
Renewing your mind.
That's well done. All right. We're going to pick it up next time on Counterculture, verse 3. Got more questions for Pastor Mark. We'll see you next time.